Did question,
This
because you know
meeting
we're
is being recorded.
up leveling everything. Did you get an email that would have allowed you to do a pre-worksheet?
I did.
Okay, okay. Just want to make sure you got it. I understand
Yeah.
to it, but I want to make sure you got it. And then, okay, I want to going because I want to put our notes in the real place they go in. How was your session with this Saturday with Aisha?
It was good. We talked about some like actionable items for like the upcoming week. Talked about trust and what that looks like. It was good to talk to her again. See, I hadn't talked to her in a good while.
Yeah,
She said she's kind of going through something similar that I had just gone through. So kind of
mhm,
working through that, but it was good. It was good. It's always good.
good, good. And so I want, what I want to do is have you, and what we had already established with her is I want you guys to keep working together as well. So
Hmm.
the component of your sessions, it will be a combination of the both of us.
Yeah.
Because definitely when you get to the team part, the vision, those things that we know we want to focus on,
Yeah.
I want to make sure I got you guys working earlier than we did last year.
Okay.
Yes. So what would you like to focus on today?
Forgot what I wrote.
Did you do the worksheet?
I did do it.
Okay, let me go pull it up.
I
I-
forgot what I wrote. Oh, I think just working through the trauma stuff, I feel like is what I wrote.
you know what? Well, we're literally changing. Oh, there it is. No,
I
that's
was
the
about to say you don't have it.
Now it's in here. We are literally changing everything.
Mhm.
We're changing our website. We are changing our um, email system, all of our back office, everything. So everything, you know how you changing and then you find okay,
Mhm.
oh, we got a tweaks here. So top three wins, spending quality time with great nephew, sharing knowledge with a group of young athletes, productive meeting with the GM and owner. We'll come back to that so you can update me.
Yeah.
What is your outlook in things right now? Still processing a lot of things I've experienced within the last few months. It's still very heavy as life and work continue. I'm trying to find my rhythm with everything. Still very much work in progress. I do feel extremely optimistic about what lies ahead. It'll take a lot of work, so I'm preparing my mind, body, and spirit for what's to come. Excited about the 40th birthday celebration. Woohoo! What are you currently putting off? Hiring new staff and vacation. And what's at least one item you want to discuss today? Actionable, applicable ways to move through the trauma. Yes. So I want to start with um, what have you been doing up to this point to process your healing?
These sessions have been the more detailed version of like understanding that. I've talked a lot about what's happened because it often just comes up with either work or family. So I think just continuing to like talk through what has happened, especially we have joint experiences with people who went through it with me, but also um, get a different perspective if it's just like family or someone. I'm now in LA, so I see a lot of people and they're just like, what happened or whatever. So it's kind of like, I think part of me wants the moving on part for me normally is just kind of like not suppressing it, but like not having to always talk about the details of what happened or talk about what happened. And for me right now, what's happening is everyone keeps asking because nobody really knew or understand what was going on. They know me, and so it's just like um, I feel like that's how I've been processing it. And then this to me is like deeper work of it, and those are kind of the two main vessels at the moment, or means at the moment.
How do you process through separating you personally and who you are and the work that you do in this, what the experience that you're having, right? So there's Noelle, there's Coach Quinn,
Hmm.
the leader,
Yeah,
right? So that's three different areas,
yeah.
right? And so as you're looking at the area of growth and confidence in Noelle, the area of growth in the confidence of Coach Quinn, the area of growth and confidence with the leader, the hurt that Noelle experienced, the hurt that Coach Quinn experienced, the hurt that the leader experienced. All three of them, and I'm just picking out those top three,
Mhm,
have their own unique experience in this. And that's the danger of compartmentalizing, because compartmentalizing takes all the experience and sets it in this bucket. When the truth of the matter is, there's varying degrees of how you process through in each of those areas.
mhm,
You tracking with me so far?
mhm,
So when you look at Noelle, there's the, okay, how do I need to process this? When you look at Coach Quinn, how does the coach need to process this? And when you look at the leader, how does the leader need to process this? When you hear me speak about those three places and spaces all within you, what does that speak to you? What are your thoughts around that?
uh, that's hard for me to conceptualize at the moment because, um, I think I don't look at it like that right now. I feel like, and sorry, I can conceptualize it. I understand that the three different versions of myself or the three different buckets.
Mhm.
I think what I'm struggling with is just like I'm that same person. I feel like Noelle is like I'm not too far different from who I am as a coach. I'm not um there are things that I do as a leader that that I don't do as Noelle because a leader has to, I constantly have to speak up, talk to the in my normal life. I just be wanting to be at home, be quiet, all those things. But I feel like at the core of who I am, like those three things like are not three. I feel like it feels like three different people. I know it's not, but that's how I'm like just working through that. And I feel like sometimes um, I think in this particular situation, it feels so close because it's like it's not just a Noelle versus a coach thing. It was a blended thing. It was like a friendship and a coaching experience. Like that's I think the part that's that I have to work through. It feels too close to like who I am. This experience that I've went through. So I understand it for sure, but it's just trying to separate that is probably very difficult.
And that's the work we have to do, because you're absolutely right. At the core, you are the same. So, for example, at the core, I'm a woman of integrity. Bottom line. How I show up with my child and how I show up in the workforce, and how there's certain things I'm not going to say to my 18-year-old that I would say in the workforce. Now, I'm still a woman of integrity. That doesn't change. When I worked in the music industry, I was a woman of integrity, but how I had to manipulate and show up in that space, there's a different way I have to show up as a coach, right? As a life coach. So the core is the same. How you have to show up. How you show up with your mother and sisters is definitely not how you show up in the locker room. You tracking with me? And the reason when you say it's hard, I know. Because if it was easy, you wouldn't have to do this. And the reason that's so important is because underneath, underneath how you've had to show up, or in between how you've had to show up and the core of who you are, that's where the pain exists. How you had to show up and the core of who you are. In between that is where the pain exists. It's also where the growth lies. It's also where the healing exists, right? So, at the core of who you are, that is who you are. In those three different spaces, you've had to show up in different ways, right? How is the hurt affecting each of those different spaces?
For for honestly, for the coaching aspect, I have like, because at the one it says one thing that I put off is hiring someone. Like, I have to hire two new people, and
Mhm.
I'm just like not in a space to do it because there's this trust that has to be built. There's this like I have to make sure I pick the correct person. There's like a little bit more of a I'm more cautious right now, and that's not just with picking a new staff, that's even with my current staff, that's just with like how I'm moving in the workspace, and that's really affecting like it's not motivation, it's just like I'm like the word is trust. I don't trust. I have to make like, why do you want to work for me? Like what's your like, I'm just overly overthinking
Mhm.
right now, and it's causing me to like not want to do it. And I think that's like not a great position to be in. It's not a The urgency is not like, it doesn't have to be there, but I normally am like, all right, boom, 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 let's get it done. And I'm not like that right now, and I don't like that. It's affecting me. And then
Can we hold on? Can we stick there for a
yeah,
second? Don't lose that
yeah,
thought.
for
And
sure.
that right there, you just articulated what's critical because we got a short window of time to get you through that because you can't take that into next season, right? You can't take. So can we stick right there for a minute? So as you know, as a high S, the thing that we work so hard as a high S to protect, and the reason we give people so much leeway is because we don't want them to break our trust. Is that a fair assessment for me to make? Because we know there's no in between. When the trust is broken, is that a fair assessment for me to make?
Yes.
Oh, but can I be real, real?
Yeah.
You like, nigga.
Thanks.
Right? And so that remember, there's always the backside of the blessing.
Yeah.
That's also unfair to you and it's unfair to others because it locks you in a place of questioning everything and it
Mhm.
holds other people accountable for experiences they weren't a part of. When you hear me share that, what does that speak to you?
Yeah, that's how I feel. And I know I know that it's not I need to like not be doing it. I know it, but it's just like how I feel right now. It definitely, I get it. Like it's not someone coming into our staff. They don't. There's no burden on them or whatever we've just experienced. And even it's like I said, it's not just like the newness of a new person. It's my current staff. Like certain things, I'm kind of like, why are we doing it, like like just overly like thinking, over analyzing, over analyzing, and it isn't fair. And I know that just have to this is something that I'm working through, just finding, um like I said, my rhythm again with that's what it is. Like literally, I'm an athlete, so rhythm is like reps and getting these make sure I'm getting, how that's how I get better. It's just trying to just work through it. I feel when I do it, and I'm just like, come on, let's let's kind of just um, get through it, and yeah, I get it. It's not, the expect, again, like you always talk about the expectation level. I can't have like these unfair expectations on people that I
Mhm.
would have for myself. Yeah.
And I want you to really own the power of and, because in this space, it's a either or, right?
Mhm.
In your behavioral tendency, it's a either or.
Mhm.
Whereas the growth is the and, because I don't want you negating your feelings and
Mhm.
I don't want you compartmentalizing.
Mhm.
I don't want you negating your feelings and I don't want you overanalyzing. So, what is the and? The and is, how do you own the feelings and allow yourself to feel it while still using it to figure out, what does this mean I need to do differently,
Mhm.
right? So, what do I do differently? What am I taking away from this? Where do I need to be more discerning? Where do I, and I'm gonna make this up. Where do I
Yeah.
not take things as personally? What, so all those things that are your behavioral tendency, how do you grow from this? So when you compartmentalize, it minimizes the growth.
Mhm.
And when you get too caught up in it, you get paralyzed and don't move.
Mhm.
So I want you in the and. And guess what? The and is the most uncomfortable place to be in, but it's where your growth absolutely exists. So for you to, if you're not negating the feeling that you're having, disappointment, hurt, frustration, anger, all those feelings, and now you give me, what's the and? What's the other side? You're not negating the feelings. The other side is what you use this experience to give you the next level of growth in you. What is that? What is on the other side of the and? So you're not negating your feelings and what?
Mhm. Transitioning to progress, like just continuing to in this specific example, just continuing to work, like interview people, get to know people, process and find the best candidate. Like that. It's a. I feel like the and also means like it's okay. Like it's
Mhm.
okay that I've experienced or that I'm experiencing this. To bring it, instead of being like, why I'm experiencing this and this, or this has to go away. So there's kind of power in that. I can experience this and still be who I need to be where I need to be, and do what I need to do. Um, in the same breath, really.
Mhm. And I want to, you said it, I want to make sure you heard it. You said, I can feel this and I can go out here, meet with people, talk with people. Like, I want to make sure you heard that.
Mm,
So what I heard was the and opens you up to just the simple movement of, I don't have to make a decision on the first candidate. I don't
mm,
have to trust them on the third meal. But what I
mm,
can do is simply talk to people, go to lunch with people, have Zoom meetings with people, determine what matters for me and who I'm looking at next.
mm,
So what I heard was, I got emotions on this side and I don't have emotions over here. I got some steps I need to follow
mm,
to get me through the next steps of determining who is in my next level of potential candidates.
mm.
Is that a fair assessment for me to make?
Yeah, fair.
So, with that, the emotion is there and you're processing and healing through. And the lack of emotion is on the other side of just the actions you have to take.
Mhm,
Because the actions you have to take in, and we're just using this example of the coach, the actions you have to take to interview a coach and get the, you don't have to have emotions in that right now. When you hear me say that, how does that translate to you? What does that say to you?
no emotion. Like,
Well, what I mean is, if let's say you got 15 candidates, you just having lunch, having conversation. You don't have to be emotionally invested in 15 people for
But I
you
have,
to be discerning.
yeah,
Say this part, for you to be discerning on the things that you're looking for in the next hiree.
yeah.
Did that help when I said the discerning?
Yeah, because I'm like, I do have to be emotionally intelligent. I still have to like be me and discern, like, okay,
Discerning.
what am I hearing from them? Am I trusting them? What's the, you know, there are, how are there, how can they work with me and my staff, the team? Like, how's their basketball mind? Like,
That's
there's a,
discernment. That's
yeah,
not emotional feeling,
yeah, yeah, okay,
right? Now, there's an emotional connection discernment, but remember,
yeah,
I'm talking about the emotional hurt, healing,
right,
that part. I'm
yeah,
separating that.
yeah, yeah.
Discernment means, and here's the thing, what I want you to do is I want you to remove the cloudiness of the hurt so that you can really be
Oh,
discerning,
for sure.
right? So discernment is definitely there. Here's the key. Do you have to be emotionally invested in these first conversations, or do you
Mhm.
need to be discerning?
Yeah, just discerning.
Just discerning. So you
Mhm.
hear how I'm disconnecting?
Yeah, for sure.
Now, when you think about that disconnect, does that help in, for lack of a better word, the motivation to move into the phone call, Zoom meetings, because you've separated the anchor that was kind
Hmm.
of weighing you down? Does that
Yeah,
help with that?
it does help.
And how
It,
does it help?
I mean, they don't have anything to do with each other, really.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I feel like, or I was feeling like my emotions were just like pulling me down. Like, I don't want to do this because, just for lack of I don't know if motivating is the right word, but for lack of a better word, I've been moving my feet slow because it's like, I want to, I'm a feeler. So I'm feeling everything right now. And, yeah, these emotions don't have anything to do with what I can still continue to do and how I can still continue to work. I
Mhm.
don't have to bring that portion into the discernment of finding somebody to come and work with me. Yeah.
And you said something um, I want to spend a little bit time on. Um, I'm gonna put a disclaimer out here. You trust me, right?
Yeah.
And you trust that I'm gonna take you places you don't want to go.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So you said something very important, very important. You said, I'm a feeler.
Hmm.
Now, that's a part of you. That doesn't make it the most healthy part. It doesn't make it a negative.
Mhm.
What it does do, though, is at 39, almost 40, as a leader amongst women in a professional league, as a businesswoman running an organization, what do you have to do with that feeling to help you in this next level of your career? You
I
track the question?
Yeah, yeah. I feel like I've gotten better
Mhm.
with, um because last off season you were saying like some people just their goal is just to be on the team. I'm like, but you want to work hard and do these things. I feel like I've gotten better, kind of letting go of like, or understanding that sometimes people are just who they are. I don't have a responsibility all the time to kind of, change. People, it's not about changing, it's evolving, but um, I think I'm getting away from, as a coach, I'm getting away from like trying to always be like, let me fix this. Let me feel what's going on. Um, I think that it I have to kind of relinquish that a little bit because that will make it's actually kind of calloused me a little bit too. This situation has, because now I'm like, I don't, I'm just, I'm looking at everybody. I don't trust people right now. And I feel like it's because of like um, how much I move with my heart and how much I like easily trust until broken. And I'm just like, cut you off type. But I feel like I was working with being better at that, not always like not being so invested into like that space of like the emotional feeling part of it. But now I feel myself like hardened a little bit. And again, this is not a space that I want to be in, but for the business and being a leader, there has to be a sweet spot of it. And I'm still working with the sweet spot, but I am better. I've been better with like finding that sweet spot. I haven't found it yet, but I'm more cognizant of it. So I'm more mindful of it. Like, okay, like that person is who they are. Let me just move toward continuing to do my job and being who I am.
Hmm.
But now how I feel, this moment, how I feel like it's just completely like other end of the spectrum.
Hmm. Absolutely. And so, in this growth that you've had, let's give credit where credit is due. If you were at a one, you're at a five,
Mm,
right? Your goal is to be 20.
mm,
So, we got to celebrate the one to the five, and we got
mm,
to stay committed to the tough work to get to the 20.
mm,
And so, in that space, you said something key. You said about hardening, right? And where I want you to evolve in that area is I don't want you to harden your heart. I want you to strengthen it.
mm,
I don't want you to harden your compassion. I want you to strengthen it. I
mm,
don't want you to harden your trust. I want you to strengthen how and when and what levels. Because up to this point, you have trusted unconditionally with no parameters, no boundaries, no, again, because that's how Noelle would do it.
mm,
That is not how a leader can do it. And it's definitely not how a coach can do it.
mm,
Back to the three, right? So you can absolutely be all those things with your nephew. You can't be all those things with a player on your team.
mm,
Doesn't change Noelle.
mm,
This gives Noelle discernment and maturity and growth in how she shows up and who she is.
mm,
So the key is you can still be that, but you got to learn how to be that in these three realms: leadership. And when I say leadership, I'm talking about how you deal with the GM, how you deal with the owner, how you deal with the media, how you deal as a coach, how you deal with your players, how you deal with your coaches, how you deal with, and then Noelle. Here's the reality: your players haven't earned the right to see the Noelle that your mother, your sisters, your family, your friends see.
mm,
No one has earned the right to see me the way my best friend does.
mm,
As much as I love people and people love me, they don't get they don't get what she gets out of me.
mm,
But the variance is, Noelle, you still get the core of me. You just don't get what Sadiqa gets.
mhm, mhm,
You tracking with me?
yeah,
You get the core of me. You don't get what Sadiqa gets.
mhm,
Sadiqa don't get what my husband gets.
mhm,
And she gets the core of me. And so when you think about this, your heart, your love, your trust, it's not about hardening it, but it is about strengthening it.
mm.
When you hear me share that, what thoughts do you have around that?
Yeah, I really like the word strengthen because I don't like the word harden and I don't like to be in that space. So strengthening gives me new perspective of that. Um, and it's something that is actionable too. Like I can work through strengthening. Like I was feeling like I can't work through hardening because it's just can't get through that. Yeah, it's hard. Literally. literally, but when you say, again, being an athlete, when you say strengthen, like the work that it takes to strengthen something it's continuous work. It's um, consistent, um, and it's recognizing. To me, it's for me. This part right now is just recognizing that it's existing and just trying to like find, like I said, actionable ways to actually put it to work and to use. So I like that word a lot, strengthening.
And why are you putting off your vacation?
Is first of all, when I was typing it, I was like, ooh, don't want to write this.
Yeah, because you know I was coming back to
I know. First of all, I'm not a good vacationer. Like if I had ever even gone on vacation, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to be back home. I really, it's hard for me to relax, but also not, but also, I'm in LA a lot. So I feel like I'm seeing the sun. I can find ways to relax here. It's just time. Like usually after the season, I'm with Canada. I didn't have that this year,
yeah.
but then college scouting is around right now, December, so I'm taking trips, and then all of a sudden free agency is in January, and so if in fact if I commit to this vacation, I would have to do it like it has to be like again a sweet spot of a time, and sometimes it just does not occur. But also, I'm in LA and I'm like, I see the sun all the time. So this is
So
like
is
a
your
bit,
definition of a vacation seeing the sun?
I guess.
First of all, we got to
Yeah,
start with your definition of a
I
vacation.
know. I
So
guess so.
let's change the word. Let's change the word
Okay.
because you literally went you went from a really, really tough season last year, not a year before last, losing
Mhm,
season, transitional season, growing season. You went right into in the off season. You literally pretty much went into preparation for Olympics.
mhm,
And while you were preparing to go get the two biggest free agents, then you
mhm,
went into the expectation of this season. Then you
mhm,
went into this season. You went into the Olympics. You're
mhm,
dealing with Canada coach, your team, your owners, and now here you are.
mhm.
Okay. So that was a lot just listening to it, right?
Yeah.
So let's remove vacation. You need a break.
Mhm,
You need some time to downtime.
mhm,
Now, you get to create what that is for you.
mhm,
Some people, that's 3 days in a spa. Some people, that is getting some time in the sun.
mhm,
Some people, what is, so remove the word vacation. What
mhm.
does Noelle, wait a minute, tell me your middle name again.
Monique.
Monique. What does Noelle Monique Quinn need to pour back into her? Because you're depleted.
Yeah.
You're depleted. So I don't want to hear the term vacation.
Okay.
Okay.
Like that.
How does Noelle Monique Quinn pour back into her? How does she do it? And how much time does she need to allocate for it?
Yeah. The time thing is interesting. I think 2 days is good.
Then I'm gonna add and make it 4.
I know I've been feeling like I just need a minute. That's what I was and I actually told Pokey like I just need a minute. I do. But it's just hard because things are they're coming fast. It's here. It's not. I haven't even talked to you about. You around this time last year, I was on my free agency tip like already, and I feel like I'm so behind too. So, but also I'm just like I just need a minute.
Mhm.
What it looks like is to just not have to worry about anything work wise. I don't have to be in a different destination to be like to take a break. I feel like I'm a good break taker from Noelle can be a good break taker. I don't text back, ignore a call. I can do that easily.
Okay,
It's just how
okay.
but it's hard as a coach to do that because I have to, I'm still very much actively coaching is 24/7, you know. Um Actively have to answer an email or make sure an agent is getting a response or my organization is getting a response or my coaching staff getting a response um, at the moment. So what it looks like is just it's disconnecting from that honestly. Um, and again, it doesn't have to be at a distance. I don't have to be anywhere else. I could disconnect here. I love it in my house. I don't.
Believe
I don't. I don't. That's another thing. I don't fear going anywhere, but it's just. I just I like it here.
you can be home.
I
So
love it.
4 days of a minute. That's so you just need a minute. That's our new.
Yeah.
You need a minute. Now, now let's go to the leader, right? We've talked about Noelle. We've talked about coach. Now we're talking about the leader. So the leader identifies what is needed, not just with the team, not just with the organization, but with herself, right? As a
Mhm,
leader, you've identified you need a minute. We're
mhm,
defining that as a 4 day minute. If we
mhm.
got to compromise, I'll go to three. Okay,
Right,
we'll figure that out before we finish. So
right.
we need a 4 day minute. A leader establishes what needs to happen in order for you to get this 4 day minute, right? So everything you identified, who needs to be the point of contact while you're taking your minute, right? What do they need to be informed with? What agents, what team organization leaders need to know? I'm taking these 3 days, these 4 days, these 2 days, whatever we determine. So a leader creates the opportunity for you to get what you want, right? Or what you need. It ain't even what you want. And
Mhm,
here's the thing, everybody in your ecosystem, when you as a leader position it the way a leader will, the way you will, because again, the core of who you are is integrity. The core
mhm,
of who you are is compassion. The core. So again, you're using your core to establish a leadership role that is important,
yeah.
right? Because what we don't want, Noelle, is we don't want a May burnout because we didn't take 4 days in December or January. And
Mhm,
that's potentially what can happen,
mhm.
right? So, as a leader, how do you create the ecosystem you need to get your 4 days? Now, I've had a tickle all morning too. I can, oh,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, can't shake this.
Does that make sense? What I
Yes,
just shared? Mm-hmm.
it does. I mean, I'm thinking about my birthday weekend. It's my birthday's on Friday, actually, the third. I have my party on the fourth and then a Sunday. Like that could be a natural. um,
Mm-mm. They separate.
what?
They separate. No,
No, it
they
could be
separate.
natural. Thursday,
Mm-mm. That's
Friday,
separate. Let me tell
Thursday,
you why.
Friday.
Let me tell you why it's separate. I'm not even gonna let you get the thought out. Let me tell you why it's separate. They're separate because that weekend is celebrating you. That is not your downtime. Absolutely not. You tried. That is your celebration, and we gonna have downtime. Your word today is and.
Oh my goodness.
And
Okay,
so
okay.
yes, you
I
need
was trying to. I was like, oh, this is easy.
You need that celebration. You need that celebration. And you need this downtime. I'll compromise to 3 days.
Okay.
They're not the same weekend. Yes. And if you don't create them, your calendar is never going to be kind enough to give them to you.
And I think
Ever.
that's yeah, that's honestly what it's always been. I'm like, um, it's like this is ideal, but it just shows up differently. if I'm actually not intentional about taking the time. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely point person. I could definitely do all of that. I think, especially in the off season, it's doable.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's not ideal for me, but it is doable. Meaning, like, even if I'm, there's always a game to be watched. Like, there's always something to be scouted. There's in the off season, it feels like, oh, the season is not on, but in the off season, I feel like that's where all the work is done. And I think, a downtime day could easily turn into me watching games all day. That's just how the nature of it is. But I can, I have to look at the calendar.
Because that's not what I want in your downtime day.
I know.
The other part of this is then what do you, I know you can be in your home, but what does that look like? Here's the thing, what replenishes you, right? What replenishes you? And I want you to be real transparent. Can I be real transparent with you?
Yeah.
It may be masturbating, it may be massages, it may be movies, it may be hooking up with somebody, it
Yeah.
may be talking to that girlfriend that you don't get to talk to. Like, I mean, really, what replenishes your soul?
Yeah.
Because you will fall into a habit of watching some games, turning on Sports Center, Googling some players. I mean, we're gonna establish real intention on what feels and fulfills and refills your
Mm,
soul. Noelle, your soul is depleted.
mm,
Your soul is depleted,
mm,
rightfully so. From all of everything we talked about,
mm,
your soul is depleted, and you can pray. You can strategize. We can have amazing sessions. None of that feels your soul.
mm.
What feels your soul? That's why the celebration is going to be a component. But
Yeah.
what else in your downtime, in your minute, what fills your soul?
Um, I like to play the piano. First of
Mm.
all, I know you know this. I am the squarest of the square of the square. I'm a cool person, but I am a square. So yeah, I like to play the piano often. I'm here just learning. I read music, so I'm able to play. Like that's the most calming thing to me.
Okay.
So I do that. I have a great nephew. I have a couple of godchildren here as well in LA. But I put that on my assignment because it is like he's super dope. He's 3, and he's
Oh,
often here. Yeah, and the other day, like I got him Legos. He was on my session with Aisha. So if you watch it, you can see it. He's just like being very annoying at that moment, but that's my guy. I bought him Legos the other day. He's like, "Oh, you're being so nice to me. I love you." What? But that fills my soul for sure. It's just like it's just innocent. It's like he's my family. I'm big on family, as you know, but
oh,
I spend a lot of time with him. Spend a lot of time with my other goddaughter. Um, so it's like that stuff.
yeah.
It's like the simple stuff for me, honestly. I like to watch movies and all that, but um those little details, I think those get me back to where I need to be. Um,
That's what I want you to feel and some time just with you, because
yeah,
they are so simple that we disregard them.
yeah,
We don't make space for them.
yeah,
We don't create intentionality around them,
for sure.
right? And so the when you're gonna do it, what you're gonna do during it,
Yeah,
what how are you gonna empower your ecosystem so that you can do it?
mhm,
That's the focus for you taking your minute.
yeah.
Where do you see, if any, not that there is, but are there any challenges that we haven't addressed that would keep you from or interfere with you taking this minute?
No, no, we've addressed them. It's just it's
Okay.
the work and it's me.
Hmm.
Those are the biggest things right now. But nope, nothing else really.
So 46 minutes in, do you see where I started with Noelle, coach, leader? Do you see how we've taken time to work through how these three entities, that's still you, that's still the core you, but there's variances in each of those that you've got to continue to evolve in. Do you see a deeper understanding of that now?
I do.
And give me some insight into what you see now that you didn't see at 8 a.m. your time.
Yeah, I was grappling with like them not being the same person. They are um the foundation, the core value system, like those three um buckets are still very much me. But um certain people, processes, things within these buckets um don't need to always get the all of me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's working through what that particular portion of who I am needs. Um, and the the emotional part of those that doesn't have to be tied into the process of that. So like we talked about being a coach right now and having to hire, like that's the emotional aspect of it. My entire being feels
Mm-hmm.
does not have to be uh it's the and. It does not have to be, it's not and or, it does not have, but it does not have to be tied um to the processing of things. Um how and one thing I'm remembering is like I remember we talked about like how I wanted to show up every day as a leader and a coach and my presence and all those things. That is directly impacted on like taking care of myself too. And so as I work through like me being a coach, me being a leader, I have to take care of myself because then it really impacts how I want to continue to show up uh, to the group,
Mm-hmm.
to the organization, and for myself. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, it's just it's I'm the same person. I think I'm grappling with no, I'm not different. It's not being different. It's just I'm different. The different scopes of myself that I'm having to really work through.
And would a word for that, what you just shared, would a word for that be evolving or evolution?
Yeah, we talked about evolving too last year. Not changing, but evolving.
I
Yeah,
heard you catch that earlier.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so what you just shared, the grappling, right? Um, evolving.
Mhm,
And so in order to evolve, there's things that you have to relinquish,
mhm,
right, in order to evolve. Or there's things that you have to adjust in order to evolve.
mhm,
Or you said it earlier, there's a different way or an evolution in how you look at certain things that is a component of evolving,
mhm.
right? That perception, that
Yeah.
perception. So in this space, we have three words that we've really hit on in today's session: and, strengthen, not
Mhm,
hard, evolution. And the reason I want to spend some time with evolving, the evolution, is again, your strength is that you're loyal, you're supportive, you're a person of service, integrity. That is cores of your character. We always talk about the backside of the blessing. The backside of the blessing is you get locked in.
mhm,
It's like right here. You hold on,
mhm,
right? And you personalize.
mhm,
That's the backside. Is that a fair assessment for me to make? Right? So, this evolution part, how do you grow or how do you evolve in the area of depersonalizing what has nothing to do with you and everything to do with who that person is. And I'm going to
Yeah.
put a little bit more framework around that. Meaning, you said earlier, there's certain players that you had that you're like, I I need them to show up, but I can't change them.
Mhm.
Right? You said earlier how we got through that. You had to accept. She gonna smoke weed. I just need her to give me my 12 minutes at the highest level. If you go smoke, I got to get my 12 minutes. There's evolution in there, right? And so, in that space and place, it wasn't personal.
Mhm.
She didn't transform the way you needed her to. Because if she had been on any team, she would have done the same thing. It wasn't against Noelle Quinn.
Yeah.
Where in your evolution do you got to learn how to depersonalize? Because again, service, support, loyalty, integrity are your core characteristics, some of them.
Mhm.
It also makes things personal for you that they would show up like that with anybody, which means it
Mhm.
wasn't personal for you. Where
Mhm.
are areas where you can learn to depersonalize that's going to help you be a better Noelle, a better coach, and a better leader?
Yeah. Well, I think a big thing is I was coaching, excuse me, coaching people I played with.
Mm-hmm.
So there is like a relationship that exists.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe moving toward coaching people on my team who I have not been teammates with could be helpful. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it becomes personal because I know you. It becomes personal because like even with like Sadie's, for example, I played with her. Like my last year in 2018, she was a rookie. Like so I think, even that layer of like personalization, it was deeper because of the bond that we've established prior to me coaching them. Like now moving forward, I think what's going to help me is like, I don't know you now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and maybe like it's not that it's good or bad, but I'm just kind of like trying to like put it together. Maybe like that's kind of what I need to do now for my career, for me to like learn how to depersonalize things, because like if I don't know you, like maybe my expectation level was different, but I know you. Like I
Mm-hmm.
spent time with you. I had dinner with you. I've been in your house. We've been in locker rooms together. Like we've done amazing things together. We've had bad times. We had like that to me, I've established a bond, a friendship, or whatever it is. And I think that impacted how I viewed the what they were doing. And
Mm-hmm.
so now, literally, as I'm putting my team together and thinking about this particular way of making sure I disconnect, and maybe it's not going to happen. Maybe I'm still coaching somebody that I used to play with, and I'm phasing out of that because I'm about to be 40. But uh, but like I'm getting old.
Grown, grown, just grown.
Girl, yeah.
Grown.
But I think maybe that will help too. Like maybe
Mhm.
just finding a team full of players so I don't have an established something with, and then that doesn't feel so like, man, why are you acting like that? It's me. Like it shouldn't be.
Mhm.
I think I would navigate that a little bit better if
Mhm.
I didn't have that established. So,
Mhm.
not saying I'm just kind of
That's
making
one phase
it
of it. Right.
one phase of it.
Right.
But I'm, still kind of working to like last season when we talked about that, I was like, okay, like they are who they are. Don't
Mhm.
put this expectation. That's not fair.
Mhm.
How do we work through that? It's still difficult, but
Mhm.
I feel like as I'm putting my thoughts around it and who I want to coach and how I need to be as the coach, I think that's one layer of it. Maybe I shouldn't be coaching people I've established like bonds with prior to.
Mm. And the great thing is, as the leader, you get to establish
Yeah,
your team chemistry,
yeah.
your team culture.
Mm.
Like And that's a part of what I want you and Aisha working on is an even deeper dive in the character and qualities that you want in players,
Yeah.
right? You the last 3, 4 years, you've honestly had to get a handle on this part of coaching and this part of coaching. Well, now you've evolved to the next level of you get to now even stitch the character, not just
Yeah.
the chemistry, not just the culture, but the character of the players you recruit, the
Right.
players that you bring in.
Mhm.
So with Aisha, I want you spending some time and I want you thinking that we'll do it as well, but I want you spending some time. What is
Mhm.
the character? Now,
Yeah.
there may be a player that's just balling and they may not have the full character. You still get to decide. Everybody didn't pick up Antonio Brown.
Right.
He was a baller. Everybody didn't pick him up.
Yeah.
Balling or not balling. We know all kind of players that have not got ballers. You get to decide when you
Yeah.
establish, right? So
Mhm.
that's a part of the evolution.
Yeah.
What are your takeaways from today's session?
Strengthening is a big word that I really liked today. Um, I want to make sure I continue to live in that space because I don't want to feel how I feel. I'm not built to just be, not motivated, focused, locked in, and um, my light, my spirit be like shining. I can't be opposite of that. That doesn't feel good for me. So strengthening was a word that really resonated with what I need to do within this time frame to be where I need to be, to feel how I need to feel. In the same breath, the end of what I'm going through is okay. I could have my emotions and continue to work, continue to have a vision, continue to execute that vision. Um, and really doesn't negate what I'm going through or feeling. It's just giving me a means to continue to operate while I strengthen. So um, I also learned that my birthday weekend does not count for my minute.
That should have been takeaway number one. Yes, it is not your minute.
Yes.
Yes. So, and I'm gonna add one to that
Okay.
one. And you learned that you can have a minute and not get caught up in having a vacation.
Yes. Yes, I like that too. A break. You said a break. Just need a
Yes.
break.
You need an opportunity to feel your soul.
Yeah, films.
You need that. So you got about 3 minutes for just a couple of housekeeping notes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay,
Mm.
I'm gonna turn this off. Uh,